Police Association President Wayne Vincent is there for the officers. And Wayne, as you were dealing with that, by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
24 hours later, you get a call about your friend and fellow police officer, Jaime Padron. Can you just walk us through what happened?
Well, as you know, Officer Copeland was involved in a situation to where it became violent, and from all accounts, he was fighting for his life. And then a few hours later, the odds ran out for us, and we lost a very dear friend of ours.
A very good friend of yours personally, too, because
Yes.
I was asking you, I recognize him on that picture. He was part of the APA board.
That's right. He just got on the Police Association Board of Directors. He was destined to be a leader in our organization, just like he was a leader wherever he went, an outstanding police officer.
And you said that you really wanted him to be on the board. Tell me what spark you saw in him that you thought, we really need to get this officer involved.
Well, Jaime's the kind of guy that he never talked about himself. It was always about who you were, and he just knew so much about you. He always had this smile on his face that just kind of spread. So there was definitely something very special about him.
Never talked about himself, but I'm sure he talked about his two little girls all the time.
Well, absolutely. I mean, a family man, a wonderful father. He, by all accounts, his life wrapped around his little girls.
Yeah. When you got that call early in the morning about his death, kind of take me back to what you were thinking. I'm sure it was surreal at the time because we hadn't seen a police officer dying in the line of duty by gunfire since Ralph Ablanedo, and that was 20-something years ago?
That was in 1978.
Yeah.
We have, we've talked about this before, that we are extremely lucky for a city our size, and our luck, our odds ran out that night. My first thought was there's got to be some kind of mistake when I got the phone call. So it took a while for it to sink in, and it's still sinking in.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, actually seeing some of that big city crime, unfortunately, when it comes to Austin nowadays. A lot of talk also has been about the suspect, and some talk about he was taking Xanax and maybe mixing that with alcohol. Have you even touched that part yet, or are you focusing on Jaime?
We're just focusing on supporting each other, getting through the grieving process. The justice system will take care of the other part of it. It's just a stark reminder that we have no idea what the circumstances are involved in every time we make a contact with somebody out there.
And let's talk about that for a little bit, because this was a routine call, a person who was intoxicated. He went out there to respond. What is exactly the rule when it comes to routine calls like that? Should you have two officers? How is that coming into play?
Well, again, we try never to use the word routine, because what can be a call that you handled 5 times that night, on the 6th time it can turn deadly like it did. There's always a question of whether we should have two-man units or one person. Time and time again, studies have shown that it's not safer whether you have 2 or 1. Okay. These things unfold rapidly.
As they did that night, definitely. Getting some Facebook questions from our friends, our viewers, and one is asking, what do I do? What do I say to somebody in uniform that I might see today that I wouldn't say 2 weeks ago? What do I say today?
Just a thank you. What is so amazing is you have police officers that watch their brother officer go down. Their families are scared now because they know it can happen, and yet those same police officers go back out on the street the next day. So just a simple thank you for being out there, keeping our community safe goes a long way. We hear the negative a lot. The positive, just a little positive to those men and women out there goes a very long way.
A true hero indeed, Senior Police Officer Jaime Padron. And with that, let me go ahead and say thank you, Wayne, for your time and for your service that you do for everybody.
I will pass that along to the fine men and women that are working out there now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Weather and traffic all